not even going to ask how the ankle is because clearly you couldn't play, so that was pretty obvious. But maybe the frustration of that not playing that when the game really matters.
Yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating, especially with something like that just is all about the luck or circumstance of stepping on someone's foot. And especially feeling like game one when it happened, I got kind of lucky because I felt pretty good, like good enough to play in game two. But for it to happen twice and a little bit worse the second time, it just sucks that it happened then at such an important time.
Or you, Coach was saying yesterday that whenever you tried to work on it, it just felt worse like the day after. Have you ever had an ankle injury where when you were trying to work through it that progress seemed to be going backwards maybe instead of forward?
Yeah, but we were also, just because of where we were in the playoffs, like, it's easy in hindsight to say, oh, it flared up, like you should have gave it 4 days and then tried for game four or whatever, but we felt like, and we kind of decided that it was worth it to try, so I ramped it up pretty much every other day to try to play in game three, gave it a break, tried to ramp it up to play in game four, and both times it just wasn't good enough, and then responded the next day or even later in the afternoon with some more swelling and a good amount of more pain. So, I mean, it's looking back, like it probably would have been smart to not try each time, but I still, like in the moments, thought it was worth it.
How frustrating was it to see you guys battle, knowing you could help if you were on the court, but not being able to be out there?
Yeah, I mean, very, very frustrating. I kind of built up the whole season of playing those games.
Grayson, you had mentioned a few weeks ago that you felt like you guys had like 10 or 15 games this season where you felt, oh man, we should have had that one.
Yeah.
When you look at the season in totality, what do you feel like prevented you guys from sustaining that level of play you showed at your peak?
I think some of the games early in the year, growing pains from a new group. Some of the games are, having some unfortunate injuries early in the season to some of our guys. And then some of the stuff later in the year, just with team turnovers as a group, everybody not closing games down the stretch, giving up fourth quarter leads. Like, there's a lot of games that I know we all feel like we should have won during the season, so it's a bunch of different things.
Are you able to draw any positives from, personally how you fit with Kevin, Brad, and Devin out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think for myself personally, like I've fit really well with this group, and I've played my best basketball of my career this season, so I'm definitely excited about, it's really early to start looking towards next year, but I'm excited to continue to play with this group and continue to get better as a group.
There's so much talk about whether or not to add a traditional point guard. How do you feel like that would impact the offensive?
I don't know. I know the guys that we have with Book, Brad, and KD, we want the ball in their hands. Those three are going to be out there for the majority of the game. We want the ball in their hands. We want them being scorers. Adding a point guard, I don't know if that helps or just takes the ball out of their hands more. So I believe in the group that we had this year. I think we had enough. We just didn't quite put it all together.
Through the ups and downs of the seasons, what do you think you learned the most about yourself playing with the Suns this year?
I mean, it was another year of good improvement for me on the court, doing some different things, being better in a lot of different areas. So some good takeaways of continuing to build and improve individually.
When you look at this group, a lot of the roster is pretty much intact heading into next season. I know it's hard to diagnose right now, but when you look at next year, what do you feel like you guys need to be better in regard? Book mentioned the details, communication, things like that. Is there anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, all those things: details, communications, execution, little things. Like I said, I like the group that we have. I feel like we have enough. We had enough. So just got to come back and be better, and hopefully the continuity helps.
Grayson, do you think it was harder for everything to mesh than you guys might have thought, just looking at the talent?
I mean, maybe. I think injuries really shortened the time frame that we had to be the group that we wanted to be. You kind of have, when you look at the season, you have like these benchmarks of where you should be by Christmas, All-Star, going into the end of the season, and I felt like when we were starting the season off in preseason, like we saw things that were like, all right, if we really work on this, like this could be really good for our group, and then we go really the first half of the season without having our full five out there. And then you get into a point where you're later in the season. Now everything is kind of everything needs to be expedited. Like you have to be better, quicker. You don't have the time to go through those growing pains without it really hurting because you're playing in games that you need wins. You don't have time to figure things out. So I think that hurt us, which is why one of the positives I'm looking forward to next season is now that we have a year under our belt with this group playing together and figuring things out, failing together, knowing what works and what doesn't work. I feel like that'll put us in a good spot for next year.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.